She won't tell you she's testing you. She doesn't need to. Her silence is the test. Her withdrawal, her sudden coldness, the change in her tone. They all mean something, but not what you think. Most men mistake this silence for disinterest. They panic. They chase. They start over-explaining, over-texting, over-loving, all to prove they're worthy again. But that's exactly when she starts to drift away even faster. It's not because she stopped caring overnight. It's because she felt something change in you, something subtle but powerful. Your calm turned into craving. Your strength turned into seeking. And she could feel it. You see, women don't test you out of cruelty. They test you out of instinct. It's something older than language, older than logic. It's nature's silent conversation between the masculine and the feminine. Every woman, whether she knows it consciously or not, measures the man in front of her, not by what he says, but by how his energy reacts when the ground beneath him shifts. You might think you're being tested on your patience, your loyalty, or your kindness. But what she's really watching is your center. Do you remain grounded when she withdraws? Do you keep your composure when she challenges you? Do you stay calm when she tries to stir your emotions? Not because she hates you, but because she wants to feel you. When she pushes, she's not trying to start a war. She's trying to find your edges. Because deep down, every woman craves a man whose emotions don't collapse under pressure. A man whose presence doesn't depend on her validation. She doesn't want a man who reacts to every mood swing. She wants a man who can hold his own through it. A man whose silence speaks louder than panic. A man who doesn't need to prove his strength because it radiates naturally. So when she tests you, understand, it's not rejection, it's recognition. It's nature asking you, are you who you claim to be? This is the unspoken war between strength and emotion. And only the man who learns to stand still in the storm wins it without ever saying a word. Let's be brutally honest. You've been here before. You met a girl. Things started beautifully. She laughed at your jokes, texted you first, talked about the future, and made you feel seen in a way no one had before. For a moment, you thought this was it. But then, something changed. Slowly, quietly. The texts came less often. The warmth turned to coldness. The spark turned into silence. You didn't understand why. You hadn't done anything wrong. In fact, you did everything she wanted. You cared. You stayed available. You made her feel special. Yet somehow, all of it seemed to push her further away. You start overthinking. You tell yourself maybe she's busy, maybe she's stressed, maybe she just needs space. But deep down, you know something's off, something invisible, something you can't explain. This is where most men lose themselves. They start chasing clarity. They start apologizing for things they didn't do. They start adjusting their behavior, trying to win back the version of her that once adored them. And that's where the test begins. You see, women don't test you when things are perfect. They test you when things feel too perfect. When they want to see if the calm you show on the outside matches the strength you hold on the inside. When she suddenly pulls away, she's not asking for more attention. She's checking if your sense of self depends on her response. When she gets moody for no reason, she's not looking for drama. She's unconsciously searching for a man who can stay calm in emotional chaos. But most men fail here, not because they're weak, but because they've been taught that love means always doing more. They think fixing, chasing, and reassuring is strength. But to her, it feels like instability. It feels like you're bending to earn what you already had. And that's when attraction starts dying. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you lost your center. When a man starts to orbit a woman's emotions, she stops feeling safe in his presence. She begins to sense that he's reacting to her energy instead of grounding it. She doesn't want a man who mirrors her chaos. She wants a man who steadies it. So the painful truth is this: you're not losing her to another man. You're losing her to her instinct. An instinct that's asking one silent question. Can you handle the storm without losing your calm? To understand why she tests you, you have to go back, way back, to something deeper than dating, deeper than modern relationships. You have to look at nature itself. Long before technology, before society told men to be polite and emotionally available, survival depended on one thing: strength. Not just the strength to hunt or fight, but the strength to stay composed under uncertainty. For thousands of years, women's survival depended on choosing a man who wouldn't collapse under pressure. Because in a dangerous world, a weak man wasn't just a mistake. He was a threat to her life and her children's survival. That instinct never went away. It just evolved. Today, her world might not have predators or wars, but her biology still looks for the same signals. It still whispers the same ancient questions. Can this man protect me emotionally? Can he lead? Can he stand firm when things get hard? Every test, the distance, the silence, the subtle challenges, is her unconscious way of asking those questions. You might think she's playing games, but her subconscious is scanning your energy. She's not listening to your words. She's reading your nervous system. When you stay calm, your energy tells her, I'm grounded. I can handle chaos. When you get defensive, your energy says, I need control to feel safe. And that's when she starts to lose trust in your masculinity. You see, women don't fall for words. They fall for vibes. Words can lie, energy can't. That's why she might tell you she wants a nice guy, but end up with a man who doesn't worship her every move. Because deep down, she's not attracted to comfort. She's attracted to certainty. Certainty that your emotions aren't dependent on hers. Philosophers like Carl Jung spoke about the balance between masculine and feminine energy, not as competition, but as polarity. The feminine tests chaos because she needs the masculine to anchor it. When she feels your calm, she relaxes. When she feels your anxiety, she mirrors it. And that's the hidden truth. She doesn't test you to punish you. She tests you to trust you. Because trust, to a woman, isn't built by promises. It's built by presence. And presence means this: no matter how emotional she becomes, you remain still, like the ocean floor beneath the waves. So remember, her tests aren't attacks. They're invitations. Invitations for you to rise into the kind of strength she can finally feel safe surrendering to. Here's the part no one tells you. Her tests aren't about you failing. They're about her feeling. Most men think a woman tests to find faults, but that's not true. She tests to feel your truth. Because to the feminine, words mean nothing if they're not backed by energy. She might say she trusts you, but part of her is still watching, silently asking, is his calm real or just an act? This is where most men get trapped. They confuse testing with rejection. They take her withdrawal personally. They think she's losing interest, when in reality, she's seeking reassurance, not through words but through consistency. She doesn't want you to fight her tests. She wants you to remain unmoved by them, not in arrogance, not in silence, but in presence. Think of it this way. When a woman tests you, she's like water hitting rock. She's not trying to break the rock. She's trying to find out if it's real. When you react, when you get emotional, when you chase or explain, you crumble. The rock turns to sand. And in that moment, something in her heart quietly dies. She doesn't stop loving you. She just stops trusting your core. Here's the twist. The more she loves you, the more she'll test you. Because love for her is vulnerability, and vulnerability needs reassurance. Not reassurance through words, but through your unshaken energy. The feminine doesn't need logic. It needs rhythm. It needs to feel that your world doesn't fall apart just because hers does. When you stay calm during her storm, something incredible happens. She softens. She lets go. Because she finally senses safety in your stillness. That's the paradox. The only way to stop her from testing you is to pass the test without even noticing it. Don't try to control her emotions. Guide them. Don't try to fix her. Understand her. And don't fear the test. Honor it. Because when she tests you, she's not trying to push you away. She's desperately hoping you'll prove she can finally stay. So how do you pass the test? She'll never admit to giving. You stop playing it altogether. You stop reacting to every emotional wave that comes your way. You stop chasing validation. Stop explaining your worth. Stop proving your loyalty. Because the moment you try to prove yourself, you've already lost yourself. Understand this. A man's strength isn't shown when everything is peaceful. It's revealed when everything is chaos, and he still chooses calm. Masculinity isn't loud. It's not about dominance or control. It's quiet, grounded, unshakable. It's that energy that says, I know who I am, whether you stay or go. When she pulls away, let her. When she doubts you, don't beg her to believe. When she tries to provoke emotion, don't feed the fire. Become the stillness that extinguishes it. Because what she truly wants isn't constant attention. It's constant direction. She wants to feel that you're living for something higher than her moods. That your heart is steady because it belongs first to your purpose, not her validation. Most men make the mistake of putting women at the center of their world. But that's not attraction. That's worship. And the feminine doesn't want to be worshipped. She wants to be led. When a man loses his purpose, he loses his polarity. And when polarity dies, desire follows. So the lesson is simple but brutal. Stop trying to win her. Start mastering yourself. Because the man who is centered, calm, and purpose-driven will never have to chase love. Love will naturally orbit around him. When you operate from peace, you become the storm's calm eye. When you lead with silence instead of panic, she feels security. And when you no longer react to tests, you become untouchable. The world doesn't need more emotional men. It needs grounded ones. Men who can love deeply but never lose their direction. Men who can listen with empathy but never surrender their self-respect. Men who can be soft when it's time to comfort and steel when it's time to protect. Because the ultimate test isn't from her. It's from life itself. And every moment of chaos is asking you the same question she is. Are you rooted in strength, or are you begging for certainty? When you can answer that without words, when your presence alone speaks louder than promises, you've passed not just her test, but the one every man must face. You've become unshakable, and in that stillness, every woman feels the same thing. Not fear, not confusion, but peace, because she finally knows. She's standing beside a man who can't be moved.